Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm your host, Ricky Green, here for Tide Talk Sports. And today we're going to continue looking at the in-state prospects in the state of Alabama for the 2022 class. And these are all going to be guys that have offers from the Alabama Crimson Tide. We did episode 1 on this subject back a few days ago. Today we'll continue that discussion with 3 more prospects. And I got a lot of people in the comment section in that last video wanting highlights video of the players that we're breaking down. I hear you, and we're going to do something a little bit different for you all with this video. Down in the description, I will link the highlights for each of the 3 young men that we're about to talk about today so that you can all check them out for yourself. Let's get started in today's episode of Tide Talk right now. All right, I want to start out the episode with a question for our viewers. Get in the comment section right now and let me know what you think. Will Alabama have the #1 class for the 2022 recruiting cycle? Y for yes, N for no, and I'll pin this down in the comment section. Can't wait to see what you all think about that. Now, the first young man that we want to take a look at here is a prospect that I am really high on. This young man is an absolute dog, and he's from that Montgomery, Alabama area. And if you've followed me on Twitter or you've heard me cover recruiting over the past couple of years, I really highly believe that these kids that come out of that Montgomery area are just built different. These are some absolute dogs. And Khurtiss Perry, the nation's #6 defensive tackle, according to the 247 Sports Composite, is no different. This kid is absolutely raw. He is a bully on the defensive line, 6'2", 250 pounds, and ranked as the 65th best player overall in the nation for 2022, regardless of position. He is out of Park Crossing High School in Montgomery, Alabama, and is being recruited. His primary recruiter is Coach Charles Kelly, and Freddie Roach is backing up Coach Kelly here, trying to help land big Khurtiss Perry. And he's a young man that I'm very excited about. I can't wait to watch him develop and see him during his senior season in high school. And hopefully one day he'll put on the crimson and white and terrorize opposing quarterbacks for the Alabama Crimson Tide. All right, before we get into our next young man here, if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, I need you to do that right now for me. We have a goal here for our YouTube channel. We want to be at 4,000 subscribers as quickly as we can get there. If you'll hit that subscribe button right now, I certainly would appreciate it. And I'll keep the content pouring as surely as the tide will roll. All right, the next young man that we're going to look at here in our video today, Trequon Fegans. Now, this kid reminds me of somebody that played for Alabama that is one of my all-time favorites of the Nick Saban era, and that is one Dre Kirkpatrick. Trequon Fegans is a 6'2", 181-pound cornerback out of Oxford High School in Oxford, Alabama. Now, Trequon grew up an Auburn fan, but the Alabama offer is definitely something that he is excited about. He's released a top 10, and this is a young man that I believe could make a decision sooner rather than later. And I expect Alabama to be much closer to #1 on that list than they are to #10. 6'2", 181 pounds, the #77 player overall nationally, and just a really good cornerback, especially considering the fact that this is a 2022 guy, and he was just a junior in high school last season. Really plays a lot like Dre Kirkpatrick. Big, physical, ball-hawking, head-busting corner. And I'm really hoping that Trequon can put his Auburn fandom aside and see that Alabama is probably the best business decision. If you are a cornerback that grows up in the state of Alabama and you have NFL aspirations, Alabama is the place to go. There's no doubt about that. Hey, if you're enjoying the content that we're putting out on our channel, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button right now. That does a couple of different things. It lets me kind of gauge whether or not you all are liking the content that we're putting out, but also, and more importantly, every time you guys comment or hit that like button, it forces the YouTube algorithm to recommend our videos more often. So more recommendations equals more views, equals happy Team Tide talk. We put out more content, and that should equal happy Crimson Tide Nation. Good situation all the way around. Go ahead and hit that like button for me right now. Getting ready to wrap up the video for today. But before we do that, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you that have supported us here on our YouTube channel so far. In just a couple of months, we have went from nothing to over 3,500 subscribers and videos that are hitting 20, 30, 40,000 views. That is freaking awesome. And we so much appreciate your support. Each and every one of you are important to us. And we just wanted to take a second today to make sure you knew that and to thank you for supporting us here on the Alabama Football News and Rumors channel on YouTube. All right, moving right along now, we got one more prospect that we're going to take a look at in today's video, and that is Justice Finkley out of Hewitt-Trussville High School in Trussville, Alabama. Justice is the number 7 strong side defensive end according to the 247 Sports Composite Rankings. The 118th best prospect in the nation, regardless of position. He's 6'2", 255 pounds, and he is just an absolute go-getter. High motor, great kid, really has everything you look for in a future big-time defensive end. Coach Carl Scott and Coach Pete Golding are after this young man. They're kind of handling his recruitment. And I believe that Justice Finkley has just as good a shot as anybody else to be a contributor and a real player in the future for Alabama should he decide to roll with the Crimson Tide. Real quick here, I want to back up just a little bit. At the beginning of the video, we talked about Khurtiss Perry, the number 6 defensive tackle out of Park Crossing High School in Montgomery, Alabama. I had just a second here to do some digging. And I just want to let you guys hear these stats that this young man put up during his junior season because I am blown away. Khurtiss Perry had 173 tackles, 58 tackles for loss, and 15 sacks from the defensive tackle position his junior year in high school. I don't even need to say anymore about this young man right here. Just get him in Crimson ASAP. Don't have a decision timeline for Justice Finkley or for our boy Khurtiss, but I believe that they'll probably be in the fold before early signing period for the 2022 class. Trequon Fegans is the recruit that we've spoke about today that has a decision coming soon, and I believe that he will make a smart business decision. Looks an awful lot like Dre Kirkpatrick at 6'2", 181 pounds, and we would absolutely be tickled to death to have him at the University of Alabama, manning that boundary corner spot for 3 or 4 years. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. We're not going to keep everybody very long. We've got the college football playoff semifinal coming up this evening between the University of Alabama and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. You all know how I feel about that. Alabama getting ready to run through Notre Dame, in the words of Nick Saban, like shit through a tin horn, and I'm ready to see it. Everybody stay safe today. We'll see you next time here on the Alabama Football News and Rumors channel on YouTube, presented by Chat Sports. I'm Ricky Green. Roll Tide.